So yeah, we're super excited to do our first stream of Fate Extella Link.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Alina, and I'm here with Ryan.
Hello.
Do you want to just tell them kind of what you've contributed to the game, just so they know?
Oh, sure. So I've been the main localization editor on both Fate Extella and now Fate Extella Link. And just to bring any new viewers up to speed on what Fate is all about, let me give you a quick rundown. Essentially, the concept of Fate is about various figures from history and mythology and literature coming together in a big battle royale. So, could Hercules beat Achilles, or Teddy Roosevelt, or, doesn't even have to be, it could be, I don't know, Mr. T, or just, anybody you could think of can become a hero in what this, what they call the Holy Grail, which is the Holy Grail is essentially, I don't want to bombard you guys with too much, but basically, if you've heard of a character in history, literature, or mythology, you might find him in this series as a fighter, a sort of a champion for what they call a master, who summons them to fight for them. In this, what has been a long contest that they call the Holy Grail War. Now, this game is set after the end of the last Holy Grail War, where far in the future, all of this conflict and basically all of humanity has moved into this digital world called Seraph. And so the winner of the last Holy Grail War was the protagonist of the series, called Hakuno by default. And Hakuno had a servant here who you can see on screen. The lady in red there is a female incarnation of Nero Claudius.
The cutest.
On the other side of our central figure there is Tamamo-no-Mae, who is Nero's sort of arch rival for the protagonist's affection. And then in the middle there's a new guy we'll get to in a moment. That's Charlemagne, as you can see from his name on the screen. Anyway, Hakuno, the master, and Nero have ruled in peace for a little while since the events of Fate Extella, but they live in a world where any random historical figure can come in and start, wreaking havoc at any time, and so things never stay quiet for long. And that's about where we are with the start of this.
Yeah, so we're just giving you guys a rundown, because if you haven't played Fate Extella, Link is a direct sequel to the first game, so it's pretty important to play them in order if you can.
Yeah, now one thing we did do during the localization process, because the Japanese script very much does assume that you've played the first game, is we had a little bit of leeway to add a few extra bits of information in the opening narration. So there are a few extra paragraphs of information to sort of help people catch up on who the main characters are and where they've been and what they're doing and all that.
Right. So before we actually get started playing this, we are going to show you guys a little trailer that we had released, just in case you missed it. So
yes.
We're really excited to show you this trailer, and you guys can see what the release date is.
Enjoy.
Yeah. So
Alright.
hope you guys like that. It's coming out March 19th. So
March 19th.
very, very soon.
And you got a glimpse of the limited edition goods at the end there. There's the game, of course, the soundtrack, the new cards to match the old cards, which there's 10 new ones with the new servants that you see in this game. There's also the acrylic diorama, which was really nice. That's something we haven't really done before on our end, so that was something nice to see this time. Yeah. Oh, and incidentally, if you happen to pre-order the PS4 version, you also get this nice little theme called the Heroic Spirit theme.
Yep.
And I mentioned that because I'm the one who put it together. So.
Yeah. So why don't we get started on playing some of the game? Who should we start with first?
Yes,
Chat.
now.
Who would you like to see?
We have 3 choices here. We have, again, Nero Claudius, we have Tamamo, and we have Charlemagne.
Yep. Which Charlemagne's new. He's
Charlemagne
a
is new.
new servant that wasn't in the previous game.
And he's a very fun protagonist. I had a lot of fun writing his lines.
Joel from Facebook asks, when is this out? Well, if you didn't see, March 19th.
Okay, we got a couple of votes for Nero, aka Saber.
Okay.
Looks like Nero is the...
That's right. Oh, I think Nero took it this time.
Yeah, yep.
We will play them all.
We will.
So don't worry.
That's what we're here to do. But let's start with Nero.
Yeah. By the way, we are going to be giving away 3 keys for the previous game, Fate Extella. So, to enter, all you have to do is make sure you're following us on Twitch and retweet. We'll be picking 2 people from Twitch. I'm sorry. So, 2 people from Twitch at the end of the stream. All you have to do is just be active in the chat. And on Twitter, follow us and retweet. Yeah.
Yeah, so here we are in the virtual recreation of Nero's Rome. That statue there was Nero wrestling a lion, as she is wont to do. Oh, and it begins. So our adversary in this map, our main adversary, is Karna. Now, just to give you a little bit of background here, Karna is a returning character, a returning servant from Fate Extella. He is also, in Hindu lore, the son of the sun god Surya. And there's a lot of a very elaborate story about him, which I wish I had time to tell you right now. But he is known as the hero of charity because he gives anything to anyone who asks, even his enemies, when they're blatantly asking for like his weapons before they fight him. He will say yes. And he still usually manages to win. So, usually do. Alright, so we got some tutorial pop-ups here. Cindy9 asks, is there any chance of a CCC localization, or is it out of your hands? I personally would love to work on a CCC localization. Unfortunately, right now, it is more or less out of our hands. So, if there is any development on that front, you guys will be the first to know. So, as with Fate Extella, this is a sort of a battlefield action game where you and your army battle sector by sector against the opposing army, always represented in red. The way you take each sector is by defeating these enemy officers called aggressors, which you can spot by the arrows on the map that you're about to see. Oh, I see now the aggressors are attacking our little crown icon there, our master. So we need to save him. There is one aggressor in this map. If I get rid of him, all his minions will fold. Okay, this is called a Shadow Servant. This is a new feature. For Link, Shadow Servants are essentially inferior copies of other servants, and they serve as sort of petty officers that you fight against. I'm using what they call active skills here. Oh. And what you saw just there, you can also choose a support team. This is a new feature for Link. You can choose up to 2 other servants with varying benefits. They'll like jump in and take hits for you, they'll jump in and assist with your combos, that sort of thing.
I see somebody mention the Fate Go event, so the Fate Grand Order US Tour. There's going to be one in Los Angeles, and we're going to be there. So this Sunday, if you come through to the Fate Grand Order US Tour, get your tickets. We'll be there Sunday with Fate Extella Link, and you can play it. So yeah, definitely stop by our booth if you're going to be there.
Yes, an answer to, you got a few questions here, so I'll do my best to answer all of them. Rudy Roo asks, Master participates in the field. Yes, the Master is there not just as a sort of flag for the enemy to try and capture, but also to provide you with extra mana. If you're in his or her sector, the Master will provide you with mana, which will fill up your skills' cooldowns faster. Let's see, next question was, what's been improved compared to the original Extella? Well, several things. Visually, it's much stronger, much smoother. Also, there's been, in terms of gameplay, there's a lot of quality of life improvements. For example, you can now lock on to aggressors, plants. That was one thing in the last game, was always chasing the enemy plants out of the sky, trying to dart around and find them. Now you can just lock on. A lot of other objectives have been added, so you get much more dynamic sort of battles. No two really the same. There's been a lot of new scenarios, including several bonus scenarios. So, and of course, the game does include an entirely new story and 10 more characters.
Yeah.
Oh, and the PS4 version and Switch version, and I believe the PC version as well, right? Have multiplayer.
Yes, all of the versions have multiplayer except for PlayStation Vita.
Okay, so here is one of the dynamic objectives that can pop up during a match. So that pirate you just saw there is a female incarnation of Sir Francis Drake, who is now firing cannons at the Master from across the map there. And so what we need to do is get all the way across the map, past this obstacle here, and I'm going to leave a few enemies alone for now because Drake takes priority. Can you customize your Master? You can change your Master's name and gender.
Are there 3 general main stories again?
There are multiple routes through the same basic story, which do go different ways, and then there's a bit beyond that. It's structured a bit differently than Extella in that regard, but you'll see that as the game progresses.
How does multiplayer work? It is a 4v4 multiplayer. It's kind of like, if I could put it in layman terms as much as possible, it's kind of a capture the point.
Pretty much. Oh, and here's Drake.
Does it have the story from the first Extella? Do you think that fans who haven't played the first Extella and maybe don't want to, even though they should...
We do encourage people to check out Extella for various reasons, but does it straight up recap the first story of Extella? It hits the high notes. It'll tell you what you need to know when you start the game, if this is your first game in the series. Face off. There we go.
Francis Drake.
Okay, I'm going to use the other features here. So I've been using just my regular attacks and active skills up to this point. Now that I have that blue meter at the bottom filled up, the last game had those the Extella meter, where you could just do a bunch of repeating attacks against everyone in the sector. In this game, when your drive gauge, that blue gauge there, fills up, you can press circle to power up for a while. Once you're tired of being that powerful, or, just before your drive gauge runs out, you can press the circle button to unleash an attack like that one, different for each character. So cool. And those golden sparks you see that fly in while you're in that powered up mode and you kill enemies, those sparks will power up your Noble Phantasm.
Are we gonna get the Noble?
We are certainly gonna get the Noble. I'm saving it, but we're gonna see it.
There is no co-op mode, but multiplayer is 4v4, so you could play with 4 of your friends in that. No co-op.
Zero, there are towers in multiplayer, but the goal is not. They are a big point of it, but there's points that you're supposed to be. Towers do help.
Yeah, the towers will provide enhancements to different classes, depending on which type of towers they are and which team controls them. Start taking this guy a little more seriously. Now I have those 4 little icons you see on the left. Oh, wait.
Ooh.
Okay. This is another thing I like about this game. Your allies are actually helpful. In this situation here, Tamamo is using her Noble Phantasm to power up the rest of your team's servants with extra mana, which is going to make us recharge a whole lot faster. So now, I can just straight up unload on this guy.
Woo.
Yep, and there's an explanation of what her Noble Phantasm does for the field.
Iron says, fluffy waifu! Best wife.
Fluffy waifu for fluffy life. Alright, let's see. Okay, so a couple places we can go from here. There's still some enemy officers on the battlefield. There is Lancelot, who is one of the new servants for this game. Now, Lancelot is a berserker class, so he, like most berserkers, he can't talk, can't think straight, and can only scream in incoherent rage. Also, instead of a sword, he's packing 2 machine guns, FYI. His whole power is basically he can turn anything into a weapon. Anything he considers a weapon, so like you won't see it here, but he can call in like full-on airstrikes on it.
Public turner. Each servant has different abilities, so it's totally different abilities, different playstyle, pretty much for each servant.
And you'll see more of that as we play with the different servants.
That's right. So we're going to be playing 3 on this stream, so you can see 3 different playstyles.
Oh, Drake is back. She just popped up again in the top right.
Get out of here, Drake.
So this time I will kick her off the map. I'm using the dash maneuver repeatedly as I go.
Yeah, just something you just pick up as you play test it.
Yep.
Love that dash.
And there's Drake again. So this time,
Oh, you got the noble.
let's do the noble. Here comes the noble.
Here we go. Oh, Public Turner says, I meant with the field assist abilities, does each servant have a different power-up?
Well, some do. It varies depending on what map you're playing and what the circumstances are.
Ooh.
And there's the noble. So, let's see.
That's like one of my favorite parts is watching each servant's noble.
Okay, Tamamo's in trouble, so I need to go help her now.
Please go help her.
Of course.
Please. She's too cute and fluffy to get beat up.
Now, another way to charge up your noble meter is to find those golden circle and star marks that are marked on your map, and those will power up your meter at least part way, if not the whole way. Well, here comes Medusa, a recurring character from the last game.
You can actually turn the subtitles off too during the Noble Phantasms. So if you just want to see the visuals and not have the subtitles on, you can.
This is what you're seeing here is what they call a link attack, or a rush attack, where if you have at least one other allied servant on the same sector, and you knock the enemy into a certain position, you can start dogpiling them. Oh, she's getting serious. Luckily, I'm not there. And we'll give her a send-off.
Yeah, so if you haven't noticed, this game is really flashy. A lot of updated visuals from the previous game.
Yeah. In fact, if you're just watching the game, it can look like, complete chaos when it gets busy. But when you're holding the controller, you feel much more in control of everything and aware of what's going on.
Al Reeves asks, is there still a My Room in this game?
Yes.
And is it different from the hub?
Yes, well, it's My Room is part of the hub. Basically, the hub is an open area, a courtyard, where you can go into 3 different buildings, one of which is kind of a sort of a combination of your room and like a shop/workshop where you can build new skills and mystic codes. That's armor for yourself, for the master. There's also a barracks where you can talk to any of the servants in their own rooms, and then there's a war room, basically. And you can also wander around in the courtyard and talk to any servants who are there at the time, which varies from map to map.
This game is really cool! Oh, and I haven't shown you guys the code cast yet. Those are those 4 symbols on the left next to the master. So you can equip different pieces of armor called mystic codes that will give your master different abilities for that fight. Oh, there's Karna. Eek from Facebook asked, "Are you guys from the Exceed Games team?" Just asking. Yes. It might be hard to tell from Facebook because we're streaming this on the Fate Extella Facebook page, which you can like if you're watching on Twitch. But yeah, we are from the Exceed Games team, and Ryan here has worked on this game.
Oh, there's my defense support again.
Tamamo needs head packs. I wish that we could. Actually, do we have a... Do you think you can grab a pair of those? We have something special to show you guys. It is very visually colorful and flashy. Hello, lady.
It's unfairly polite self. Ah, yes.
Let's see if I can.
And we'll send off Karna with a send-off befitting a great warrior.
Nice.
Do we want to see it again?
Yes! I'm like talking for the chat. I'm like, yes! Like my ears?
Oh, and he actually survived that. For him, so.
Yes! Dig in the ears.
And that's the map.
By the way, if you go to the Fate Grand Order US Tour event this Sunday, you might just get one of these.
Yeah, we do still have some.
You never know. Gotta stop by our booth and see.
Is the DLC for this game just costumes, or are there any additional characters?
You can actually look at a full list of the DLC, and that'll make you have an educated decision on which version you want to get. But if you go to exceedgames.com, click on the news section, and it'll be the latest news post about Fate Extella Link. And you guys can see about all the DLC.
Yeah. For the Uncle Kazu, do the servants say different lines for their noble phantasm each time they use it? Sometimes. There are a couple of variants each for most of them. Alright. Well. So now we've seen Nero. Who do we want to see next? We can see Charlemagne, we can see Tamamo.
Charlemagne or Tamamo?
Are there any ninjas? Public Tuner asks. I would say Robin Hood comes pretty close. I mean, he's a forest ninja, but he does have a costume, I think, that's even called Green Forest Ninja.
Yes, there will be a awesome collector's edition, which you can also look at exceedgames.com, or you can go to the Fate website, which is... I will tell you. I will link it to you, actually. I'll do you one better.
Go Fate, link it to us.
I'll Fate link it to you.
Survey says Tamamo, so we'll go with that.
Tamamo! So if you want to check out the collector's edition, you can go to fateextellalink.com, which I just linked. Comes with an outer box, an inner box, an acrylic, a soundtrack, and it comes with servant cards. If you are familiar with the first Fate Extella game, it also came with some servant cards, and it comes with a cloth poster, as well as some DLC. So, it's a pretty good deal. Really good deal. Definitely check it out.
Now, of course, these servants are all based on established characters, with one exception that I shouldn't go too deeply into. But there may be some of you out in the audience wondering who's Tamamo, so just to give you a quick rundown. Tamamo is a mythical Asian fox spirit who, in various legends from India to Japan, was known for cuddling up to various rulers and then corrupting them. So some stories have her flat out evil, others portray her as being more sort of sympathetic and misunderstood, in particular the Japanese variant of her story. And yeah, here, the reason she always calls the master husband, whether, regardless of the master's gender, is because she sees herself in the role of the perfect wife, and just wants to coddle you nonstop every day, no matter what.
Best wife! Sigma Jump asks, how much you need to know about Fate to get into the first game?
Get into the first game, there is a recap very near the start of the first game where they sort of summarize at least the essence of Fate and the Extella timeline of Fate in particular. Basically, they'll tell you, what servants are, where you are in the timeline. They explain that you're in this virtual world and that the world is set in this supercomputer that is based on the moon, which it is. And there's a lot more to get into from there. But I would argue, in some ways, that this game is actually a little more accessible of a jumping off point than Extella might be, to some players at least. Though they do reference Extella, more than once in this game, of course, in various ways.
I love these moves, they're so flashy.
Mm-hmm. And Tamamo has a very different set of moves than Nero does. Her class, because these servants all have classes, is Caster as opposed to Nero's Saber. So a lot of her moves revolve around either close physical combat with her fists and feet, or magic, tossing magic around. Like, for example, let's see.
Not too much cat ears. There's never too much cat ears.
Flamethrower. What is this one? Oh yeah, cool.
What's your favorite servant class? Asks Public Critic.
Very good question. There are a lot of different classes and a lot of different variants on those classes that I like. I think Nero and Charlemagne are both just really fun to play, gung-ho with, and just rush right in and just mix it up. I like playing Caster because she's different. Because with Caster you do have to be more cautious. She calls her own defense cardboard armor, and she's right. In fact, Berserkers can be fun. I don't play as many archers myself, but that's nothing against archers. I just don't end up playing them as much. And then there's other specialty classes like Ruler that you also see in this game. I like the idea of a ruler because it's just this, the idea of this really powerful character who's only there to sort of enforce the rules and make sure everyone plays fair.
Yeah, be sure to check out Fate Extella link for more details. And we are taking pre-orders on Steam and PlayStation Network, so you can pre-order it today. As well for the Fleeting Glory Edition, which is the physical edition. You can get that on Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4.
I like how Tamamo dashes the front flip. It's a nice touch.
Excalibur!
Obviously, the demo's difficulty is set pretty low, as most demos are.
Yeah, this game actually gets pretty, not too difficult, but it definitely is a challenge.
Yeah, public tuner, ruler classes. Rulers are very neutral.
Yeah, if you have the Fate Extella Ellie, you should definitely get the Fate Extella Link Ellie. It's really good, and also, like, we have more of those cards.
Yes, the Extella, the Link Ellie was specifically designed to sort of complement the Extella.
That's right. Yeah.
You saw a cool touch there. Drake teleported away rather than fading away.
I would love to hear in the chat, which version are you going to get? Which version are you going for? It's going to be out on Steam, PC, it's going to be out on PlayStation 4, PlayStation Vita, and Switch. So you can play almost, I mean, that's just about every platform right there. So which one are you guys going to get?
How fun is Gilgamesh in this game compared to the first? He's Gilgamesh, come on. Of course he is. In fact, one of my favorite dialogue scenes in this game is the one where they reintroduce Gilgamesh. You'll see what I mean.
See a lot of PS4, a lot of Switch, some Steam.
Okay, now I'm playing Tamamo this time, but it is still a story event that Tamamo powers up everybody with the with their noble phantasm.
Everyone should thank Tamamo. Thank you, Tamamo.
So that still happens, but this time instead of protecting Tamamo while you're doing that, because you're already Tamamo, I believe this variation on the scenario has you protecting Charlemagne, at least at some point moving forward.
Thank you.
Oh, yep, there he is. There's Charlemagne.
Yeah, so like we said before, all of the versions will have 4v4 multiplayer aside from the PlayStation Vita. So if you are looking to get the multiplayer, I would definitely go with one of those other versions. Tamamo gives us her energy.
Oh, by the way, you can see on the map those extending arrows moving from sector to sector. Those show how close the servants within those sectors are to attacking other sectors. Oh, here comes Lancelot again.
Yeah, so we are playing the demo, so we're basically going to be playing the same map each character go around. So this is not like this in the full game.
Some of the active skills, by the way, are controllable, like you saw just now with me sort of steering the fire. Oh, there's Nero taking out an aggressor. Didn't grab that just then, but I did.
Eco asks, does this game support PlayStation Pro? Is it Pro Enhance? Probably answer that one more.
It supports 4K.
Yep.
So
Alright, might as well use Noble on Lance.
Venom, how long is this game?
It's actually pretty long. If you watch all the cutscenes, I would say maybe as long as 12, maybe 15 hours, just for the main scenario, and then the various routes and side trips therein, and then the extra battles. There's a great many of those.
I love that double phantasm. Yeah, so it depends on how much you want to do too, because there is more content. Not to give away too much, but
yeah, it also depends, what difficulty you want to tackle the game at, because the higher difficulties are much more. You definitely need to prep much more for those. Not necessarily in terms of grinding, but in terms of customization. There's actually a very, very detailed character menu if you really want to get into the nuts and bolts of it, that shows exactly what numerical bonuses each customization item you can get will give you, right down to, I think, like the decimals of percentages. And yeah, so if you really want to get into customizing your character that way, you certainly can. Oh, Charlemagne is struggling, so I will...
Wild Whippy, stick around till the end. We might just show a little something on video.
two priorities here, because I need to take care of Charlemagne, who is struggling, but I also eventually need to get over to the Master before he gets swarmed. So I'm just going to start by... Oh, before I go, I'm going to grab this little Noble Phantasm piece here. Yep. Oh yeah, that one maxed it out.
Jesus says I'll go for the Switch one.
How does the bond system work in this one? It's the same as the first. It's different in some ways. There are still side missions that you can take on to raise your bond with various characters. You can still raise your bond with the character, the servant you're controlling, by using code casts on them at appropriate times. One feature of the side mission that isn't in this game so much, there are dialogue options, but they're not really like, you know, visual novel dating sim style dialogue options where you raise your bond by answering certain ways. That has been kind of benched in this game. But you can still bond, raise your bond with each character, unlock new little dialogue bits with each character. And also raising your bond will increase your other characters' abilities to function as support troops. So you've seen, you know, the characters jump in and, you know, take hits or help with combos, and they can learn to do more as you bond. Okay, now it's time to go out for a break.
So yeah, some people are asking about DLC and the chibis. The chibis will come with the Nintendo Switch version, physical and digital, and for all other versions it'll be free for the first week. But if you miss it, it will be $2.99 each. But make sure you download it on that first week so you get it for free. But yeah, if you go to exceedgames.com and then click on the news section, look at the last post, you can see a full DLC chart so you can see everything right there, read it. Yeah.
Those little kind of purplish white crystals I've been getting, by the way, are what they call QP for quantum pieces. They're currency in this game.
Those combos.
And one thing you're not seeing in this demo, but is very much prominent in the overall game, is the ability to add what they call install skills. Basically extra little passive perks that you can outfit your character with. The higher you bond with the character, the more skills you can give them. And there's like different categories, like, you know, obviously your basic offense and defense. There's one that makes it so your attack points go up higher the more KOs you get. There's some that will make you run faster, recover faster, make you more, you know, elementally resistant, that sort of thing. So have fun playing around with those. There are plenty to find, and you can even craft your own later in the game. Well, you can synthesize, you know, this one or that one, you know, one piece that takes up one slot, but gives you both benefits, that sort of thing. Once you get to a certain point, that has to be unlocked. You can also customize your active skills. Right now I have these 4, but each character unlocks more as they level up. By the way, you see all the other major servants on my team all congregating toward the boss. That's what your allied servants will usually do. And one tip for the game: if you want to fight the boss somewhere else, like if there's a sector you haven't conquered yet and you want to conquer it, or if there's you know, another reason you want the boss and his minions to show up in a certain sector, which, you know, there are times when you will, you can just leave for that sector and the boss will eventually follow you there. And I say eventually, like, you know, after 20 seconds or so. It's not long. They do. Yeah, there are certain maps that include what they call... Anyway, there's these certain item boxes that you can only open by defeating enemies right in their proximity. And if you happen to have already cleared that sector without opening them, then the one way to get another chance to open them is to lure the boss into that sector. That's why. And what's in it's worth doing that because what's in those boxes is always a lot of dice install skills.
Pro tips.
Is there anything about transformation in it? They have sort of an equivalent to it. It's not the exact same thing narratively, but that's... in fact, I just filled up the blue drive gate on the bottom. Basically, every character can do this, and then fights with more power, and more, I think a little more stagger, too. And while you fight in this mode, you get those golden sparks that fuel your Noble Phantasm. Also, while you're in this mode, you can press circle at any time to end the mode and do a special power attack.
Yeah, this game is very visually appealing. There's been a lot of visual upgrades to Fate Extella. Thank you, Ego. And that was the controller.
That was the controller. One thing they kept from the last game is whenever you use the code cast, you hear it through the controller speaker. The narrative justification for that in Extella was that the master was with you, like bonded with you spiritually, like through the ring that Nero was wearing usually.
Wow. Nero
or Tamamo or Altera, depending on whose story you were playing. And so you were basically playing them both at once, and so yeah, the master's power would literally come from right about where the controller is in your hand.
Al says, do we still get to keep a level if we lose a fight?
You know, I would have to check on that. If you lose a fight, the first thing that happens is you get the option to get back up. You can, you have your command seals, and you can use those functionally as continues. So losing all your HP is not the end of it. Yeah. So that was Tamamo, and now we have Charlemagne.
Yeah, this is our brand new servant that most of you haven't seen yet, unless you came and visit us at Anime Expo. So, yeah, let's do this.
Can you show the cards included in the LE? Unfortunately, we don't have them in front of us right now. I don't think.
Nope.
We would if we could.
We will.
Yes.
We will show you eventually,
We definitely will.
in due time.
Can you use your command seals for things other than reviving? Yes, you can use them to power yourself up, and you can use them to teleport across the map.
Grim says, better graphics, better UI, better battle system, skills, more servants, no plants, multiplayer. For all of those who need a rundown on why you should definitely buy this game and bite me online.
Technically, there are plants. They're just much easier to kill this time.
Easier to kill.
What class is the new guy? He's a saber.
So this is Charlemagne, first look.
Now, Charlemagne was many things in history. He was the first ruler of, I believe, the Holy Roman Empire. He was also a legendary figure. There are a lot of sort of fantastic fables about his various knights. The word paladin originates from the tales of Charlemagne, because his peers, the 12 peers, were also known as the 12 paladins. And so this is basically an incarnation of the legendary version of Charlemagne, complete with all his flash and panache and love for glory. He's a very fun character. You'll get to know him well over the course of the game.
He looks so strong.
Charlemagne is a shonen protagonist. Yes, in every sense. Okay, so yeah, there's the plan I was talking about, and just to on behalf of everyone who's ever been annoyed by one, I'm gonna kill him. There he is. See, you can lock onto him now. Yeah, what now?
What now? What you got?
Oh, okay. Yeah, where you going?
So much fun. See, that wasn't so bad. Charlemagne's hair looks awesome, because Charlemagne's hair is awesome. That'll be some iconic cosplay hair right there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the cosplay for this game.
Yeah.
A lot of great characters.
Can't wait to see that. Hopefully we'll see some on Sunday.
Oh, yeah. You know, we were at Anime Expo last year. We saw some great Fate cosplay there too. That was great pilgrimage.
Yeah, so for those of you who haven't heard, we are going to be at the Fate Grand Order USA tour. That will be downtown LA. So you can look at more details. I will link you. If you want to reserve tickets and you're in downtown LA area, or you can make the trip, you can do so at that link. Link.
I already made that joke.
No!
Saw a question up there, will there be giant bosses in this game? Yes.
Sean says it's looking great. Thank you.
Can you show us the usage of teleportation? Sure, why not? Here, let's see. Well, I'm just one sector away right now. Here we go.
Metal Vic, we won't cover your gas, but we can give you a hug if you come.
Okay, so I can't go there right now because it is sealed off, but I can go to the one just before it. Technically, of course, I could have just walked there, but you have to see it. There it is.
I really like the teleport function, honestly.
Yeah, and it's so seamless. Like there's like no loading time or anything, pretty much. When will the game release, says Daniel from Facebook? March 19th! So make sure you pre-order the game. I'll be there, Nate will be there.
It's true.
So you can see the disembodied voice in person.
I don't think it works like that.
Well, the disembodied voice will have a body.
Oh, dang.
It's like, oh, I'm gonna have a body that day?
Incidentally, the extra swords that Charlemagne summons during his flasher moves represent his 12 paladins. And his own sword also has a bit of backstory to it, which the game will touch on.
Public Turner says, will there be any new field types in this game?
There is, yeah, there's a couple.
Sigma Jump says, just close your eyes while you're talking to him. It'll be just like it's disembodied.
I'm just gonna stand there like, you know, if you're trying to look at the screen, you should probably open your eyes.
Chris Wheeler
Trying to
says,
help you.
is this a sequel to the original game, or is it the original game with more stuff added to it? It is a sequel.
This is a sequel. It's a full sequel.
Whole new game. Lots of upgrades, as you can tell.
And here again, for those who missed it last time, is Tamamo using her Noble Phantasm to charge up everyone else's mana, which in terms of game functionality means that your active skills have shorter cooldowns until she's done.
You know what to do, chat. Thank Tamamo. We touched upon this a little bit earlier, but Stream Basics asks, how long is story mode?
I would say, you know, again, depending on whether you know, watch all the cutscenes and depending on how thorough you are with it, I would say it can last anywhere from 10 to 14-ish hours, maybe a little longer. That's just story mode, though, and there are many, many extra missions.
Yeah.
Including several that have their own little mini-stories. There's one, just to give you a minor spoiler, one little side mission where Elizabeth and Nero try to bury the hatchet and put on a concert together. And your goal is to stop them.
So we are going to be doing a Twitch giveaway at the end of the stream, so make sure you're following us on Twitch. Follow us now so you qualify. And here's Charlemagne's Noble Phantasm.
For the first time.
Yeah, so that was awesome. I love his NP. Yeah, those wings are so cool. Woo. If you're watching from Facebook and you want to enter the giveaway, be sure to follow us on Twitter and
In case anyone's wondering, it is not required to take over each sector. You do get some bonuses if you do. Right, goes back. I'll have to deal with that in a minute. But first, I'll go ahead and squash this.
Double said, I love the last fake game on Switch.
Thank you.
Great. And you can pick it up again on Switch. As well as the limited edition version. Which there was not a limited edition version of the first game on Switch.
Not on the Switch, no. Because the Switch version came out later.
A little bit later. By the way, you can go to our online store and buy Fate Extella, the first version.
Yep, in case you missed it.
Yeah, you can buy it on our online store today. So if you go to store.xseedgames.com, you can pick the game up just in time. Beat it quick. The link's coming out soon, March 19th.
And again, if anyone thinks the game looks too easy, the demo's difficulty is set pretty low, and I've played through it a couple of times.
Ryan, this is Ryan's first Fate go at it.
Ouch.
Yeah.
And here we have Karna again.
Yeah, so chat, what is your first impression on Charlemagne? What do you guys think? Let us know. First impressions, you were one of the first people to be seeing his gameplay. That's right, Eco. That's cool. This is our trade show demo, so you can't unfortunately download this and play it.
There you go. That's good.
Yeah. Hua!
By the way, if you're following the dialogue, one little touch here is that a lot of the servants will say different things to each other when they start fighting, depending on their personal history. So Tamamo and Karna are both connected to the sun. Fate Lord Tamamo is basically descendant or sort of a proxy in some ways for the sun goddess Amaterasu, who I hope I pronounced it. And Karna, of course, is the son of his sun god. So that's an icebreaker. Yeah, other characters like if Lancelot meets Artoria or Gawain, you know, they have different things to say. I mean, Lancelot just says "Gwah," but, you know.
Yeah, you did, Brio. But you can always go back and watch us play it. Yes, there will be a soundtrack
Yes.
with the Collector's Edition. On both Switch and PlayStation 4, it's the exact same Collector's Edition with the physical merch. Comes with a cloth and acrylic, cards, some DLC. Yeah, so if you go to fateextellalink.com, you can see exactly everything that comes in the Collector's Edition, and you can pre-order it today. Woo!
Yes, Amore, yes. In fact, Lancelot's trophy is called that. Yeah, we had some fun naming some of the trophies in this game. You know, since this game does, well, you know what, I'll save it for you. I'm not going to spoil the joke yet. You'll see.
Alright. So those were the 3 servants that we are showing you today. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that little sneak peek. We're going to show you one last little snippet before we go.
Yes.
And then we're going to do our giveaway. So, you guys ready? Let's play it.
Let's do it.
You guys are going to see. Wow, Livy, don't give it away! Ready? Yeah, so you guys can actually see that on YouTube right now.
Yep.
That is a little snippet of the Nintendo Switch trailer at the very end. If you stay till the end, you'll see it. So yeah, there's going to be some very cute little chibis that you can get.
Mm-hmm. And not just for those 3 characters.
That's right. There are going to be more chibi characters, but those 3 characters you will get if you get the deluxe digital edition or the physical collector's edition of the game, or you can buy them separately. So it'll be first week free. I'm sorry. So here you go. There's a link to all the DLC just so you can see a full breakdown of everything. Yeah, so make sure you stop by our booth if you're downtown LA this Sunday for the Fate Grand Order USA Tour event. We are going to be there, so stop by and play the game.
Yeah. Can we fight with chibis? Yes, they are effectively costumes.
Yes.
And once you put a chibi costume on a character, you'll see them as your character. If you meet them in the field, you'll see them that way. They'll make their big dramatic entrance as a chibi. And you can also talk to them in your home base as a chibi as well.
That's right, so you can also use the chibi skins during multiplayer if you have. So yeah, if you actually stop by this Sunday, you can play with the chibi skins. You can see them in person. Yep.
Now, unfortunately, there aren't quite chibis for every character, but there are chibis for many of them.
Yep, that is right. Okay, so thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, thank you.
We're going to do a little giveaway really quick. Let's do it.
All right.
Let's open it.
It's go time.
Yeah! So, exclamation enter to join on Twitch. We are giving away a code to the first game.
Look
That's
at
a
them
lot of
all.
entries
All right.
already.
Excellent.
Yeah. So we'll give you guys a minute or two.
Oh, we're getting questions. Will the Chibis be available on consoles that aren't the Switch?
Yeah, that's right. I will. Well, don't want to link it right now because it'll probably get instantly pushed off the screen. But if you go to exceedgames.com, go to the news section, look at the last post. We'll link it before the stream's end. You can see all the DLC, how to get it. So yeah. If you did exclamation enter once, then you're in the running. There's no need to do it twice.
Okay.
Let's give it about another minute to enter so you guys can still enter.
Of course, if you have any more questions in the meantime.
Yeah.
Will the Switch performance be the same as the other platforms? I'd say it's comparable.
Yeah. Exclamation enter. Okay.
Ico can still... can Ico still enter?
As long as you're following us on Twitch and you do exclamation enter, you can still enter right now, but we are going to close it soon, so do it.
Yeah.
Igo posted that they switched to Twitch, so yeah, they should still be able to enter.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay, Aiko, you got it. Okay. So,
Drum roll.
first winner. Let's go.
Alright. Let me close the giveaway first.
Close it.
Closed.
And
Okay.
the first. Oh. Okay. First winner. The Art of Ruin.
Art of Ruin is our first winner.
The Art of Ruin. You have won a code to the first game. All right.
Yeah, shoot us a message.
Yep. And we will get it to you. Just give us some time to send you the code and we will send it out. All right.
Alrighty.
Second
Next
winner.
one.
winter.
Winter.
What?
Yeah, that's the word you were looking for.
Ele 29. Is that how you say it? Ele?
ALEH 29.
That's like
you have
almost
won.
my name. Ele?
Oh,
No.
yep.
Oh, right there. Yep.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So congrats on your win. And we do have one more winner to pick from Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
Or Twitter.
Twitter, I'm sorry. Oof.
You're good.
Obviously. That's what these Tamamo ears are doing to me. All right, drum roll. So, our winner from Twitter is at Bird of Sand. At Bird of Sand.
Bird of Sand.
That's right. So, congrats. And thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, thank you.
If you want to pick up the first game, you can do it on our online store, store.exceedgames.com. We'll go ahead and drop some links for you to pre-order Fate Extella Link to get tickets to the Fate Grand Order USA Tour event that's happening this Sunday in Los Angeles. And we'll link you to the DLC chart so you guys can check it out. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
See you next time.
Tamamo ear.